who it is. It's your man, Mr. Digger Dish, the horror flick Big Mitch. And I'm kicking in doors and I'm bringing 030s and one-on-ones. Hell, we Vegas sons, the Metals, the Chronicles. You already know what it is. And I'm finna sideways swing with it. And I'ma always be on them things with it. Quit it. Hubba dub. You know what it is. Welcome to another episode of Vegas Chronicles, man, with your man Big Mitch from Super Six. You already know. Shout out to everybody that support my small platform. You know how I do, building it from the bricks up. Um, I believe last time when we left off, I was talking about non-stop gangsters. I was talking about Dogtown and the Pueblos. I really didn't know too much about them because, like I said before in my last video, I'm before they time. But shout out to the people that reached out and gave me a little insight. Now, as far as the Pueblos, Dogtown actually comes out the Pueblos, okay? And I think they're located, and I got that part mistaken because I always thought they was from Northtown because they didn't exist when I was out. So when they came out, I was already in prison. But they ride with the North, so I always thought they was in the North. You know what I mean? But they actually over there by Nellis. If anybody know Vegas, they're by Nellis, by the old runway 21, and they're basically considered East Siders. And they the Pueblos or Dogtown, they went to Rancho and Jim Bridget, I think, and I think they enemies are the Diana Street villains. I think that's who they funk with, and I think their colors are black and gray, from what I was told. And as far as the non-stop gangsters, they went to Rancho also, and they feuded with the ABMs. And they were located over there off Virgil, over there by Owens, down. To be a gang to feud with the ABMs, like I said in my last video, is a small gang, and I said a lot of small gangs out here in Vegas, you know, at that time had some of the most ferocious, you know, individuals in the gang. And the ABMs are one of those, you know, gangs that you can consider that's not, you know, big, but have ferocious members. So for a gang to be able to go to war with them and be small like Nonstop is, that speaks for itself. Nonstop must have been with the function to go to war with the ABMs, you know. But thank you for the input on that. I always like clarity. I don't really know too many individuals up out of the Pueblos or Dogtown. Like I say, the name I heard was, you know, Corleone. I know Killer Will. You know, I was locked up with him. He really pushed the line for that essence. You know, we bumped heads before in the joint before because he got, you know, he young and he, you know, I remember when I was young, I had the same attitude, but you know, at the same time, I am to be respected. So, you know, it's all respect. But anyway, moving on. I believe I was talking about peer pressure also. I want to tell y'all a deep story. Okay? Now, this story I'm finna tell you is deep. And I want you to bring your kids. Let them hear it. All right? I did some things because this is a true story and I had to, you know, just to protect the families. But I want it's not about it's just listen to the message in it. Okay? Now, Vegas Chronicles. It was this guy, this youngster, all right? And he became a part of this gang, right? But where the gang was located was in another area from where he stayed. Okay? The area he actually stayed in was in the gang that he joined, rival neighborhood. So the gang that he joined didn't get along with the gang where he stayed. But nevertheless, he, you know, he started, you know, banging a hood that he didn't live in, you know. But he was friends with the guys in the neighborhood he grew around, you know, up in. So as he got older, the gang that he became from went to war with the gang where he stayed. You know, so as things got out of hand, they start questioning his loyalty because he stayed over there. And even though he claimed the gang that and he was real with it, and even though he claimed that gang, they was childhood friends where he stayed. It's just the gang he was claiming considered that neighborhood enemies, and all his childhood friends was considered enemies to his gang. So he was stuck in the middle of his gang and his childhood friends, and his gang that he joined always questioned his loyalty, like, you always over there with them. You always over there kicking it with them. What, you from over there? And I'm gonna keep it like this, like I said, to protect the families. But just watch this. So he started doing things to show his gang, I'm with y'all. Even though I stay over here, I'm still with y'all though. And I do what I got to do to show y'all I'm with y'all. Let me show you. And it's been occasions where one of his childhood friends one day, they was out there, they was kicking it or whatever, and his childhood friend happened to be a member of, a rival, the rival gang that he claimed, but they childhood friends, so it was never no issue between them. So they out there, and his childhood friend had a gun, and he asked him to let him see it, and his childhood friend let him see it because they grew up together, and even though they was from two different gangs, it was never no issue. They knew that he was claiming a gang that they didn't like, but they didn't mess with him, and because he stayed in their neighborhood, so everything was cool. So when he let him see that thing, he lit him up. Lit him up, right? The dude and his childhood friend ended up living, but he did that to show his hood. Look, I'm with, you know what I'm saying? This is where I'm from. It don't matter I stay over here, that I grew up with these dudes. This is where I'm from. So, the peer pressure of them constantly questioning his loyalty made him do that to his childhood friend. Something I'm sure he really didn't want to do because he grew up with these dudes. And so as time went on, the war with these cats intensified, and so he was caught up in the middle, and they kept questioning his loyalty. Hey, man, you up over here, man, and they ain't doing nothing to you, you know what I'm saying? But, they all the homies and stuff getting popped, but they ain't doing nothing to you, man. What's happening? And then you ain't over here doing nothing, man. What's up? So, I guess, things got to the point to where he had to show, his allegiance, his loyalty. Let's just put it that way. So one day he went on a mission, let's just say that, with his childhood friends, right? They rivals of the gang he claimed, but they went on a mission. They was all walking, and they was, walking through the desert or whatever, going to wherever they was going. And they had this pistol. And the same, thing, that he did to his first childhood friend. When they was walking, he asked him, he said, let me see the pistol. Right? So they give it to him. Right? They going to pull a lick or whatever they going to do. But they deep in the desert or whatever. So when that boy gave him the thing, he automatically, he pop him. The other boy take off running. He run him down, pop him. Childhood friends. Left him in the desert. Gone. Right? So don't nobody know who did it. Everybody think this person did it, this person did it. It was so many people dying at this era and this time that it was hard depending on whoever. So did nobody know. But there was some youngsters. And so as time went on, he was putting in work. He was doing what he had to do to show that this is where he was from. And that war between, where he stayed, that neighborhood, and the gang he claimed, it took so many lives and it got so many blood. It got so many. It got so out of hand and so bloody. You know that it only stopped. You know when the federal government got in it. You know that's how they stopped that war basically. Now time went on and years passed, and him being from over there and them being his childhood friends. I mean, you can be in a gang and you can do what you do, but when you grow up with someone as a child, when you grow up with someone, and just because you chose to claim a different gang, you don't lose that bond you had with that childhood friend, especially if you still live in their neighborhood and they don't do nothing to you because they don't look at you as the gang you started claiming. They look at you as the individual they grew up with, and you look at them as the individuals you grew up with. You don't look at them as the gang they claim. So that bond is never lost. But when you put in a position to where you have to choose between them and the gang you claim, and then you choose the gang, and then you forced to do stuff that you really wouldn't do or that you don't want to do, and then you go through life living with that. You living with that. All these years you living with that. And that's what he did. He had to live with that. And you know what? I don't think he could, because so much time had passed between those incidents, and nobody know what happened, and who did what, you know. But by the time, it was all said and done, you know, it was about 3, 4 people dead, and about 20 years had passed. That's the cold thing, about 20 years. See, about 20 years had passed. Nobody never knew who did it, so I don't know if, the pressure of living life knowing, what you did to your childhood friends, or if, just the thoughts, because we never know what goes on through a person's head. We never know. We never know. And some people get on drugs to take their mind off of it, and what ended up happening is, he got pulled over, whatever, one day, and whether he was under the influence of something, I don't nobody know, but he ended up basically admitting to all those murders. He admitted and went into detail, so much so that they reopened the cases, and I don't know, he put himself away. But when you play this game and you dealing with your homeboys, sometimes peer pressure will put you in the worst predicaments. Look at what I just said. This cat, just because he stayed in a certain neighborhood, he chose to claim a gang from that was located somewhere else. And where he stayed, that gang over there went to war with the gang he started claiming. And he was stuck in the middle. And he and his childhood friends who he grew up with, he had to make some decisions. And it cost people their lives because his homeboys was questioning his loyalty. His homeboys was questioning his loyalty. My thing is, that's what I be saying about peer pressure. That's why I don't recommend this for nobody. For nobody. Now, from what I hear, he never getting out. He couldn't live, I guess, with what he did. I don't know why you know, wait to 20 years afterwards to tell on itself. Who knows what goes on in a person's head? That's why you shouldn't play this game. People think this a joke. This ain't no joke, man. This ain't no joke. It's only a joke to the people that never really participated, played, or did anything in this game, man. It's dudes that's in church because they need God to hold on, to cling. If it don't be for the churches, a lot of dudes probably take their own life. I swear to God, it got that bad. People have suffered in this game and going through things that you just don't know on both sides, the male and the females. Women ain't gonna never get over burying their children, for real. And the youth out here so angry. They so angry. They think death is a joke. Sliding, that's what they call it, sliding. It's a game to them, just like the knockout game or these flash mobs. It's sliding. Look at what the youth has become. Look at what we started and look at what it mutated to. They out here knocking each other down with military style weapons, man. You know, back in the days, you'll see a person with a 357 or 45 or something every now and then. We kept it simple. When a person had rifles and all that old stuff, you didn't see that stuff. We didn't need to walk around with that stuff or have that stuff out there like that, man. I'm not saying that we was perfect and that we made gangbanging look good. I'm saying that we dropped the ball, we failed y'all, and we need to go back to the drawing board and figure out a formula to stop this, because this has to be fixed. And people go write this off as this he just talking. Y'all think I'm another one that just get on this platform and talk. I'm going to tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to get up here and funk with another old ass man to try to stay relevant. If I want to be known for something, when I leave this earth, it's going to be for helping people, the youth. For real. And I don't want to listen, I'm not doing this to be liked. I'm doing it because it's right. I chose to do wrong at one point. I did. I accept full responsibility for everything I've done in life. That's why I'm able to sit up here in front of you and speak on my life. Real spill. It's people. Look, man. Look, man. It's a lot of people. That feel the same way I do. They know that this is a bunch of bull crap. They see the fakery. For real, they see it. They went through it. They know it. And did nobody win? We all left scarred, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Spiritually too. Scarred. For real. So if you planning on playing this game, know what you signing up for, man. Okay? Because a true homie encourage you to take your behind to school, get off the corner, get off the block, put down the Draco. For real, pick up intelligence and common sense. Use that to fight your woes. For real, learn how to play chess. Put away checkers, man. Stop being a pawn in other people's game. When you become a gangbanger, that's what you are, a pawn in someone else's game. For real. Because when you join a gang, one thing you're going to realize, it don't matter how many guns you got, brother. It don't matter how many homeboys you got. When them people come get you, ain't none of that gonna matter. Your guns or your homies. Ain't none of them gonna stop them people from extracting you from out your house in handcuffs or a body bag, and putting you in some type of vehicle. Either you going to the jailhouse or to the corners. But when them people come to get you, you leaving. So why join something you know is fictitious? Don't put yourself in that situation. For real. Don't do that. Don't do that, because when you do this here, and you cross that line like I did, and they get serious, and they put that APB out on you, and they coming, and trust me, they coming, and they got all kind of weapons, and when you want to run, and you can't even take a shower or barely eat, or be in a stand still for 10 minutes without somebody trying to turn you in and get that award, you'll be amazed at who will turn you in for that 10,000. You'll be amazed at who will turn you in. They'll turn you in just to pay off their child support, dude. You better pay attention to me, man. They'll turn you in just to pay off their child support. They'll turn you in to turn their lights back on. They'll turn you in just to get a phone from Cricket. They'll turn you in, man, just to go get a fit from City Trends. They'll turn you in. They'll turn you in, man. So don't put yourself in a position to be turned in. Stay away from gangs, man. Get a gang of common sense and go to school. Be debonair in your thinking, man. For real. It's not all, it don't have to be, listen, you're a human being born with bipedalism, meaning the ability to stand upright. And that's what your nature should reflect, uprightness. That's what bipedalism is. You not no animal. So quit acting like a monkey. Quit acting like a feral dog. Quit acting like you walk on all fours. You have bipedalism, meaning you upright. So your nature should reflect that. You should be a man of uprightness. We need to instill that in our children and stop letting, stuff that happened to our ancestors be scapegoats, for what's going on now, because we don't want to accept responsibility for our actions. Let's quit. Look, racism is gonna always be here. It is. You're gonna find the most of it in your neighborhood. You go find the most hate amongst your own people, for real. Your ancestors dealt with real hate. See, white people actually called them the N-word in their face. It was like it was a daily norm. They actually really did, terrible things, like they hung out people at high noon. That really happened to them. But nowadays, you gonna get called the N-word by a black before you do a white. And you go get knocked down or murdered by a black before you are white. 9 times out of 10, let's just keep it real. You go find the real hate amongst your own people. That's what a problem at. We have became the exact very thing our ancestors was fighting against. We have became that, and we don't want to admit it because we led by people that still wear perms, like Al Sharpton and Reverend No Action Jackson. We led by the same people, and if it ain't them leading us, it's people like Lil Boosie and all these other rappers, Tekashi 6ix9ine and all these other rappers that's leading the youth. And that's a goddamn shame. That's a shame. And who really should be leading these children is their fathers. Because we know a bunch of this bull crap they see on the internet with this music is fake, it's fictitious. It's to set you up for failure. You see? Don't nothing come to a rapper but a quick death. It's going to be somebody that always want to take your place. That's why they put life insurance policies on rappers now, man. And y'all still out here want to be thugging, man. It's crazy. And y'all only really come together when you're burying your own. For real. After y'all get through burying your own, y'all don't speak to each other or do none of that. That's sad. Ain't no homie love. It never was. It never was. It never was. We just was looking for something we couldn't find at home. And we thought we can find it amongst each other, which is acceptance and attention. We wasn't getting it from our parents. So we acted out. We wanted everybody to know we exist. We here. But we can barely read and write. But we want people to know we here. You know, shout out to everybody, man, that realize, whether one way or another, man, and however you realize it, the fact that you realize it is all that matter. Shout out to everybody that realized that, you know, the lane that they was in when they was in that other life, man, wasn't the way, and having the strength to rebuild and refocus and get another, you know, chance at life and re-grasp on reality, you know, and take a disadvantage and use it to their advantage, meaning take, you know, pain and hardship that you went through and use it to educate and build and help people, you know. That's what life is about, man. Trust me. I've been